All right, you ever want to know how to install one of these new Genies garage door openers? We're going to go ahead and tackle this thing in this video. So my garage door opener, the old one right there, 25 years old, finally burned out on me. So we're going to go ahead and replace it with one of these new fancy dancy ones. It's a little late in the day. I didn't have time during the day, so I got some lights on, but we're going to get through it and we'll check this out, man. All right, so one of the first things I noticed when we do these side mounts, ooh, that's pretty crazy. I don't have a lot of room in my garage, so I was really concerned that that mount was not going to fit in between that bracket which it attaches to and the actual wall. So I had very little space up there. There's 8 inches clearance there. And then even over on this side, there's only 8 inches of clearance there. So I was really perplexed on if this thing was going to even work, but I got the specs out, took a look at it, and it says that it's going to fit. So we're going to find out if I can actually get that thing to fit. I got really lucky. There was an outlet, or at least a junction box right there that was already there. It just had a cover plate on it. I pulled the cover plate off, and I was very happy to see that we've actually got there. I haven't tested to make sure we have power there, but we'll do that in a little bit. Worst case scenario, I'll run, have to run some electrical over here for that unit to get plugged in. But I think I'm going to go on this side of the garage only because that outlet, right? So I've got power there, and I don't think it really matters. So, all right, here we go. And then here's all the parts. Again, I got a crazy shadow going on, but I just laid out all the parts. There's the unit itself. Remotes, all that other good stuff. Once again, I'm working at night because that's just when I have time to get this stuff done. And we're gonna see how we do. So I got everything laid out. I gotta detach the old garage door opener. We gotta get rid of that one. And I got kind of the bracket already done, but we're gonna see how we do. All right, the first step is this little coupling here is going to go on the end of that sprocket, right over there. It's going to slip on that part, and then the motor will actually mount on this side. So looks pretty simple, pretty cut and dry. Everything's already there, so let's give this thing a shot. Okay, I got that mount on. That was pretty easy. Okay, so problem number one, I'm missing a part. So strike one against Genie. There's supposed to be a mounting bracket, which is an L bracket that attaches to the motor itself, and then you mount that against the wall. And there is no L bracket. And I have torn everything apart trying to take a look for it, and it is nowhere to be found. So I'm gonna go downstairs and see what I can come up with, see if I can come up with something like an L bracket to be able to use on that. Otherwise, we're on pause and I'm gonna have to call up Genie and tell him to send me one. All right, well, I did find a bracket. See that little L bracket? It's gonna mount there, so I had to makeshift that thing up. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. We're gonna find out here later in step number 6 of the installation instructions. So, all right, we're on to the next one. I'll let you know what it is. All right, so the next step is to install, sorry about that, this little spacer piece inside this roller to make sure there's a 1/4 inch. Now, I'm not gonna do it on this one. It's asking me to do it on the very bottom one, down there and on the other side, but because I can't get the camera down there, I was just gonna show you the demo, but you're gonna wanna make sure that there's a 1/4 inch spacer, that little spacer piece. So I'm gonna do my best to do that, and I'll be right back. So that was pretty interesting. There was already a spacer on my existing garage door in the bottom, so I didn't have to install those. So I actually have 4 extra little spacers along with this kit. So far, if I'm keeping track, I have 4 extra spacers and I'm missing 1 L bracket. All right, on to step number 3. All right, so the next piece this is called a cable grabber, and it has to be mounted right down here at the bottom above the bracket, and it has to be 1/8 of an inch overlap over there, because I believe this is going to come around and it's going to go through there and grab the cable. It's a cable grabber, I'm sorry, cable grabber. So I got to take this screws, we're going to drill that sucker in there and mount that on both sides of the garage door. So hang tight, I'll record that. All right, so next we have these little plastic caps that are going to go, see if I can get it zoomed in. These little plastic caps that are going to go around the cable itself and then come back, and it's going to attach to this arm that's on this cable keeper. So I'll go ahead and show you how that works. I'm hoping this one might be a little bit easier just because I got a little more room over here. We'll see. There we go. Okay. I hope that's what we're talking about. All right, we're going to find out if that's what we got going on. All right, this is the fun part. We actually get to mount the motor itself up in that corner right there. So wish me luck. All right, well, it's up there. I just got to figure out how to unlock it so it actually adjusts. So give me a minute. All right, well, I figured out the tension. There's a little cable that you pull on the bottom that releases the tension on the tension bar. So I figured that out. I just wasn't pulling it hard enough. So once I kind of got in there and pulled hard enough, it just loosened up. So I've got all 6 bolts actually tightened up there. So that motor is pretty well mounted on the tension bar. Now I got to just mount it to the wall with my handy dandy self-made L bracket that I had to come up with. So let me get that mounted and we'll go on to the next step. All right, so the next step is to attach a safety release string to this little bracket up here, which comes down and has a handle on it. But guess what? It's missing. I don't have one of those. So I don't have one of those. I checked through everything again, so they're not gone. So I'm gonna have to go down and grab some string and a fake handle and attach that thing. So I'm not gonna do that right now because that's just kind of a ease of use thing. Hey, I got a cable right here, part of a jump rope. Maybe I'll use that. I'll use something. I'll figure something out and kind of go from there. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna test the door. I'm gonna pull that release to release the spring, move the door up and down just to make sure there's nothing binding or anything like that. So let me go ahead and try that. All right, seems to be working fine. I checked those little guide wire springs to make sure they had enough clearance and stuff, and they did. And the reason I did that is because the recommendation was to only have them 4 inches off of the floor. And I actually had to go about 6 inches because I got a support bracket right there, and I wasn't quite sure if that was going to affect things, but it looks like we're in the clear. So far, so good. I've had to improvise and make my 2 different pieces because I didn't get them. And I have 4 extra little spacers. So just keeping track. All right, the next thing is we're gonna install this door lock. So the door lock, because this doesn't lock in like it would, I guess, a typical garage door. I'm not really quite sure, but this is gonna be a door lock that I install on the railing over there. I would love to have it on that side, but it does recommend that you place it near the motor itself. Probably because there's some kind of an electrical hookup to this. I'm gonna read a little bit further to see exactly why that is. But anyways, here we go with the door lock. Yeah, as I suspected, the door lock actually is powered by the motor itself, so that's why it has to be near it. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it. We're gonna go right in here, right in there, right down there, and we're gonna install that right down here. So let me get a better angle for you. All right, so can you see that all right? That's how that's mounted in there. A little sidebar. Kind of goes in there. That little bar slides in and out. So that's how that goes, and then that's going to get wired up to that somehow, so we'll see how that works. Not really quite sure how happy I am with all that stuff right there. This is a nice little shelf that we use for different stuff, and I have a feeling over time that thing's going to get banged all the time with stuff as we put it here, but we'll see. All right, so as you can see, we're gonna have to splice this together here. So let me read the directions to find out exactly how this works, and then I think we're gonna splice this in. We'll tack that up there. I'll make sure I have plenty of extra wire, and we'll go from there. So yes, we're gonna have to splice this. Just wanna make sure I have plenty of wire. Give myself a little extra here. So we're going to cut this here. It is polarity sensitive, so you got to wire the right ones up with the right one. And they are saying to connect the one with the red stripe. Let's see what they say. Install white to W, and the one with the red stripe. I don't have a red stripe, but I have a gray stripe, so I'm assuming that's the same thing. So this is going to be the white. This is the red and white, or gray and white. Back on, and that should be good. It says that it came with little clips for the wires, but guess what? I don't have those either. I looked all over for those, so I'm going to have to go down and get my own from downstairs. So I am keeping score on what is not included. All right, so next we're going to be doing the sensors. These are the sensors that are going in. And they are wired. So I'm going to wire them first before I actually mount them. This is going to be mounted down there like that. And then there's another one on the other side of the garage on that side. And then they both get wired directly up to the motor. So you can just kind of watch me do that. It's pretty self-explanatory. These are, polarity does not matter on these. So you can swap these around, and then up top, you combine the wires. And then there's, I guess, up in the motor, we're going to find out here in a minute, but there's a place where you attach the other wires. So we'll go ahead and see if we can get these mounted and working. They have to be 5 to 6 inches off the ground. So we're going to see if I can get it in that very tight little space right back there. I hope I can get them in. Of course not. I don't have enough room in there for this bracket to come in. It keeps on bending it out, which means the beam is going to be facing the wrong way. So I'm going to have to, I don't know, I might have to bend this little bracket a little bit. I hate to start cutting this off or digging into my drywall. I don't know if I can do that back there, but we'll figure it out. All right, so this will be interesting. All right, so we got the sensors installed on both sides. Now I'm going to do some wiring above that, and then we'll bring both the wires back up to the box, and then we'll go from there. We'll look and see how we'll get it wired up over there. So hang in there. I've got to go downstairs and grab the wire clips, because they didn't come with the package. They were supposed to, but anyway, so I gotta go downstairs and see what I got. So 2 fun stories. I had to go downstairs and get these little brackets to hang in, to secure the wires. And there's a story behind these. I I have a tendency to hang on to everything, and my kids have always teased me about all the tools that I have and how I don't get rid of anything, and they're all old and such. I used these little clips on a job that I did back in 1987. I was installing computer systems back then, believe it or not. We had little computer systems, and I used these little brackets. I've been hanging on to these things since 1987, and I'm actually gonna use them today. So anyways, that's why I've been hanging on to those. So all you dads out there that hang on to stuff forever, boom, it's gonna come in handy one of these days. For all you kids out there that make fun of your dads, stop making fun of your dads, all right? That's why we hang on to that stuff. Second funny story, I have a golden retriever, a puppy dog, who likes to help me out. He was out here earlier when I was first taking all the parts out of the bag and putting them around, so on and so forth. So when I went back inside to go get these little old brackets, my lovely wife said, hey, just wanted to let you know, Brody had a bag in his mouth and it's sitting over on the stairs. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. There's the missing pieces. My dog was out here supposedly helping, decided to pick it up and took it inside without me knowing. So, sorry, Genie, you did ship the parts. It was all my puppy dog's fault. So anyways, those are the two funny stories. Thought I'd take a little break. Let's get back to work. All right, so we got it all wired up, and now we're gonna splice the wires together and connect it to the main motor here. So we'll go ahead and do that. Forgot to show you, I mounted this. This is Bluetooth. I forgot to record. I forgot to hit the record button. But anyways, just 2 screws, pretty easy to put in. So that's gonna be the new one. I'll take this old one off here in just a little bit. But anyways, that's gonna be the remote there. All right, next up is going to be the light. And before I can connect the light, I need to take down the old garage door opener. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on that right now. All right, well, I got it installed. Now I got to figure out how to turn it on and clean it up. It's very dirty. I should have washed my hands. All right, so let me bring you up to speed with what's going on. I just ran out of daylight and ran out of time last night, so I had to pack it up. But anyways, I got the light installed. That was the last thing I did. Then what I did is I got into the programming. So it's pretty simple. There's not a whole heck of a lot to see, so you're not really missing out on a lot. It was really simple to actually program the door. I had to program how far it went down, how tight it was to the floor, and then also how high it actually went. Super easy adjustments. There's a program button on there. I just followed the instructions and just kind of did that real quick. Then I programmed both of the cars, the home link on both of the cars. So they're all set up. We can actually open garage door with both the cars, that was easy. The remote that goes outside my door that goes in the house, that was already programmed, all set, ready to go. And then the remote itself was already programmed. So super simple. So that's all I did last night after I installed the light. Once again, it just got too late. So today, what I'm gonna do is I gotta finish up this electrical work. Right now, I went ahead and just plugged it in here in my outlet with an extension cord, and that's not what I want to do. I actually got really lucky and had this outlet that was already here. I haven't checked the power yet, so I'm going to make sure that that actually has power and it's not attached to a switch or something. And then we'll put an outlet in, and then we'll hook it up here. However, I'm going to show you this garage door, right? I don't know if I did this or not, but check this out. All right, so I'm going to hit this. Just listen to how quiet this is. I mean, is that cool or what? I should have done a decibel meter and compared how noisy the old one was to this one. But that is a drastic change with the noise. And I don't have that big, huge, clumpy old thing sitting there. So far, super happy. Just got to get the power hooked up. So we'll get that taken care of, and we'll be all set.